Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to go through the process of using a GitHub based project template that I created for Unity projects. And the purpose of using GitHub and Unity is you can easily share your projects that you create in Unity with each other. So the first thing you can see here on this page is a GitHub repo I have called Unity Project Template 2020 LTS. And what we're going to do is clone this and then open it up with Unity Hub. So the first thing I'm going to do here is say use this template. And just a little background, template project on GitHub is basically a GitHub repository that you turn into a template with the purpose of using it as a starting point to create something from it. So I'm going to call this one Unity Test Project, and that's going to be my new repository name, and I'll leave it public, and I'm going to say create repository from template. So what it's doing is it's making a copy of that repository just as a standard kind of GitHub repo. And what I can do with this now is kind of follow the instructions here. I can clone this onto my local machine by going to code, and I grab my URL right here, and I'm going to use the terminal to clone this. So I have a folder, actually I'll just clone this on my desktop. So I'll say cd desktop and print working directory. So you can see I'm on my desktop right here, and I can type git clone and then paste that URL, and it's going to go ahead and clone it, which I can bring up right here. So on my desktop I have the folder Unity Test Project now, and what you can see in here are the standard things that are part of a Unity project. So like your assets folder, packages, project settings, and some other stuff will get automatically generated by Unity, but this should reflect exactly what I see in this repo here. So the next thing I want to do is go to Unity Hub here, and I can say open, click on the little arrow, add project from disk, and what I'm going to do is go to my desktop and get my project right here that I just cloned from GitHub and add that project, and you can see it detects the version as 2020.3.1 F1, which is correct because this template was originally saved using that version. So, and that version I have installed as well right here. So if you're opening this and using a different version of Unity, it will update the project once you open it in that newer version. So if I click on this, I'll open the project, and it's going to update a couple things. And if I go look at my folder here, you'll see what it's doing in the background. It actually is creating some other folders and downloading the package information, and essentially rebuilding my project from a state where it kind of in the repo form, it's minimal. It has just the bare minimum of what it needs to actually rebuild the project as a new project. So when that's done, I can kind of go here and I can see this is my empty project, just as if I were to be in Unity Hub and say new project and kind of go through the builder. It does the exact same thing basically. It's a starting point. So I have a new project here. I can go into my scenes and just open this, and it's what you would expect. If I wanted to add something else, I could say, okay, add a cylinder. Let's put it in the world here, and we're all good. Save it. Say I wanted to create a folder for scripts and add a script to it. I'm not going to put anything in the script, but I'll just say like hello world. So I have another file in the project. So in my Unity folder, if I go and I look into my assets, I have a scripts folder now with the hello world file. There's my scene, sample scene. So it's all the stuff that you normally would do. So say you have this project and you then want to commit the changes to your repo now. I'm going to close Unity just to declutter the view here. And this is what I have in my folder now. There's a bunch of stuff that it generated for me, and a bunch of stuff that was already here. So in my terminal, I'm going to go ahead and go to my project folder. So Unity test project, and I'm going to see what's in there. And if I type git status, it's going to show a couple things here. It'll show that the scene file, sample scene.unity, was modified, which is correct. And then I added a couple assets to this project. And the cool thing about using Git and GitHub for version control this way is I can ignore any of these other folders that are found in here that get generated that create more files, taking up more space. So you'll see that reflected here once we commit, but basically I'm going to add these files. So git add everything, git status. Now I can see what's been added specifically. So modified this, new, these new things, all good. So I'll type git commit -m and then say like added my project files or my assets. Enter. Okay. And one more thing that we could do here is spend some time, since this is a copy of a project, like if I spend some time opening this and modifying the README to this project, this would be a good thing to do. Like I called my project Unity test project, and I can delete all this stuff and say like this is my awesome project. So if I wanted to give some details for anyone that's checking out the repository, they'll show up here on the README file. So I need to add that file now. If I type git status, it shows that the README's been modified. So I'll just say git add all, git commit -m updated README, like that. So now if I type git status, it's going to show nothing is ready to or is waiting to be added. And now the last step for using git is to commit that or push the changes. So git push. And so now we'll see that my 2 commits that I made here will have been pushed here. So if I reload this page, we'll see my changes here. And I can see there's now 2 more commits to my project. So the initial commit was when I cloned this. The added this commit is when I added some assets, and this is when I just updated the README. So, and my README shows the changes here. So this is a great way to share work easily, because now somebody else could come and clone this project, download it, open it up with Unity Hub, and run your project. And it's lightweight. It doesn't have all the kind of bulk associated with a Unity project as would be in the library folder and the logs folder potentially. And really the bulk of what gets generated is put in the library folder. And it's things like all the package manager assets and stuff like that, or package manager files. Assets will always contain things that are downloaded. So if you're using, third-party assets or other assets that have large files, they will end up in here, and that's sort of your responsibility to make sure they're in the assets folder if you're going to share them that way. So hopefully this was helpful. This is, again, just a really nice way to work with Unity and share work with each other.